Hey everyone, I'm at the Roly Poly Rosary and Shrine of St. Mary to share with you the seventh station, Jesus Falls a Second Time. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, for by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. In this station, Jesus falls for the second time, not the first time and not the last time. Even the most perfect person to ever walk the earth fell down and struggled on his journey, but got back up again for all of us. I know that I can name countless times where I have fallen, and I know it will be difficult to get back up, but I do it. Just like the verse, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, I am able to turn to Jesus in my times of trial for help. In college, I spend a lot of time on my own and making all my own choices. I have taken chances on jobs, assignments, people, and many other examples, and sometimes I fall short. Despite this, I keep trying and keep moving forward so that the glory of my actions can ultimately be returned to God. I learn by making mistakes, but I am forgiven and can always begin again. God wants his children to come to him when they make mistakes so he can help them up again. Even Jesus asked God, "Why have you forsaken me?" at his last moments on the cross. Though at times it can feel like all hope is lost and even God isn't there, he is always right by our side, helping us along and picking us up when we fall.
The seventh station, Jesus falls the second time. We adore your Christ and we bless you, because by your holy cross you redeem the world. How often do we find ourselves feeling crushed by the ways of this world? College can be a stressful time. We have to find a way to balance class, homework, eating, being involved, and having a social life. Going in, these things seem trivial. As time went on, we all started to notice how hard it can be a college student. The hours we have to put in to get the grade we want, our desire to be successful becomes so overpowering at times. Sometimes we just want to hide and wait for all our problems just to fade away. I can't help but imagine that's what Jesus felt, carrying a heavy wooden cross after being for hours. He is tired, hungry, and weak. Then he falls for a second time. He is in pain and humiliated, just wanting it to be over. Jesus doesn't give up, though. He gets up and continues to fight forward. No matter how hard it got for him, he got up. He knew there was something greater to come. Just as Jesus knew there was something greater, so must we believe that. When we fall, we must get up and fight on. Our pain and stress are temporary. We choose to fight for greatness when we make the decision to continue our education. We must also continue to fight when times get hard. If we fall, we aren't defeated. We can choose to rise every day just as Jesus rose from the ground, bloody and broken. Jesus, you felt the weight of the world as you walked to the place of your death. Even though you fell, you rose again. Help us to have the courage to continue forward and to fight the difficulties we face every day.
The seventh station, Jesus falls a second time. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, for by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. I was pushed hard so that I was falling, but the Lord helped me. The Lord is my strength and my might. He has become my salvation. Psalm 118, lines 13 through 14. I've attended Catholic schools my whole life, and both my grade school and high school had less than 200-person student body. Leaving the safety of home and the close-knit community, college pushed me face to face with a life that is new, and just like college does for many of us. No one was watching over me all the time. No one planning my life, no one pushing me to do better. This threw me into a new level of responsibility. I had to learn self-discipline, prudence, compassion towards myself. Nothing that was entirely foreign, but now I was able to live them in a different way. And sometimes, with new responsibility, new worldview, and new opportunities, comes the reality of falling. We are human. No one is perfect. We are all stumbling along, trying to put the pieces together. The falls are inevitable. Falls like having too much on my plate so that I can't juggle them all. Falling into temptations that might distract me from my real priorities. Sometimes those falls weren't graceful, but after a fall, we have two options: stay fallen and quit, or to stand again and keep moving. So what happens if we stay fallen and quit? Or what would happen if we dust ourselves off and move on? As college students, we move out on our own and have taken more responsibility over our lives. We are thrown into adulthood without the protection of parental authority, and we are to take charge of ourselves and are accountable for our own mistakes. This increase in responsibility lends to falling and failing and falling again and again. But like Jesus, we must stand again and continue on our way as we live our own way of the cross. It also allows us to see our strength and weakness and to grow as a person and in our faith. We are tested every day, and sometimes failure is inevitable because that's part of our humanity. Within that, we must grow to learn from our mistakes through God's love to continue.
The seventh station, Jesus falls a second time. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, for by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. How do we continue to move forward when the end is nowhere in sight? While praying the Stations of the Cross in grade school, I always found the seventh station to be somewhat of a stepping stone for the individual stations ahead. For some reason, moments like Jesus with the women and children, Jesus being nailed to the cross, or even Jesus falling for the third time resonated with me more. Perhaps it was because each was a story in itself, or the end of a progression, not the in-between space in a sequence. As I move forward with my senior year, this station is more and more on my mind. Right now, trying to move forward with online classes, it feels like I'm at an in-between stage. It's becoming hard to feel like I'm making progress when there seems to be so much more to do before graduation. During the last few weeks in particular, it's been difficult to keeping on, as the saying goes. Between assignments, various ongoing projects, submission deadlines, uncertainty, and maintaining my personal life, I felt bogged down, tired, and discouraged. Of course, as students, this feeling is nothing new. We've all faced difficult times. Perhaps we've struggled with a challenging class or a job. We do our best to get through these challenges and are rewarded with the chance to relax after they pass. What becomes discouraging, though, is when it seems these challenges will not pass. In working through the last few weeks, I've grown frustrated at my own shortcomings because I know that I should be making the most of this semester, but thinking of everything I still have to get done just makes me feel tired. When Jesus fell for the second time, he experienced this exhaustion to the greatest extreme. He had been tortured, abandoned, mocked, and forced to carry his cross through it all. He had already fallen once, and Simon of Cyrene was helping to carry the cross that had grown too heavy for him. How much more overwhelmed he must have felt as he looked up the path and saw that Calvary was still so far away, and the worst was still to come. However, Jesus did not stop here. As exhausted as he was, as futile as getting up and continuing must have seemed, Jesus got to his feet and continued on, despite knowing that he would only suffer more. His physical strength was failing him, but his divine love for us gave him the strength to keep going. As we continue to work through the seemingly never-ended semester, let us turn to Jesus and call upon him for the strength to continue, for his divine love will carry us forward when our human strength and perseverance fail us.
The seventh station, Jesus falls a second time. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, for by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. Here, Jesus falls for the second time. He is feeling the heaviness of the cross on him and finding it difficult to stand again. But Jesus does not give up here. He perseveres and gets up and continues to walk again. As a college student and as a person growing into adulthood, I find myself falling continuously. There are several experiences that I have had when my course load piles up and my relationships take the brunt of my overwhelming life. In these times, I have been struck with loss. I lose track of my sleep schedule, and I withdraw myself from all the things that are routine in order to get back up. During these times, I have skipped Mass, or a meeting, or an opportunity to experience something new with my friends, because I just didn't have the time. Or at least that's what I used to think. I began to realize that by withdrawing myself from these important events, I was withdrawing myself from prayer and time spent with Christ. I was continuously falling because I wasn't opening my mind to what these challenges and failing moments meant. I still fall, and I will continue to fall, no doubt. But I hope that during this Lenten season, I can focus on changing my perspective and understanding that God has a plan for me, even in the moments that I feel I have failed. I must not withdraw myself from Him, but instead recognize that He is with me and have the strength to stand back up and keep moving forward.